Welcome back to another episode of The Money Mentor with Graham Home. And we have two very, very special guests this morning. Welcome to Kate and Alex.
Good morning.
Hey, G, how are you, mate?
Oh, I'm so good it hurts. I'm in agony 24/7. You guys are a bit sore at the moment.
Yeah, magnesium is our best friend.
Is it?
It is, yep.
You've got to try glutamine as well.
Okay, I'm writing that down.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just a odorless, tasteless powder you can put at the end of the night after you.
Oh,
4
really?
litres
Yeah,
in a
okay.
gallon.
Yep.
But yeah, it just helps with recovery.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, we've been having the magnesium baths as well. You know, the first few weeks was the shin spleens.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was first week pre-starting because we'd never moved before that. Just to
off the
ease
couch.
in.
You're off
Yeah,
the couch.
we're off the couch.
Off the
Now
couch.
we're back on the couch. So,
Yeah,
but
there you go.
yeah, no, it's been awesome actually.
How you finding it?
Like now we're into day 31 or something like that. It's starting to notice the mental side of it.
Yeah.
You know, like rocking up and then we're at the hotel at 5:30 at night
And
I'm
not
like,
having a drink.
oh shit, I've still got to drink 3 litres of water. It is bucketing down outside.
You got to go for exercise.
And the hotel's got no umbrellas left. Right, like, let's just go and pound the pavement. And
Yeah.
like, Kate's burning holes in my back from behind me. She's like,
There's also
You know?
something sad. Beck actually, she's twisted like me. She actually loves getting out in the rain and being the only person on the path and just getting it done.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
actually quite satisfying getting back to the room. And I'm like, hey, okay, I'm dry again. Everything's all good. Our room looked like a laundry. There's shirts hanging up. There's soles taken out of
the
shoes.
shoes.
You know, and
Yeah.
I'm like pointing the aircon down.
Yeah.
Okay, like get into the shoes because we've got to go again in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got a bit of travel coming up as well. First week that we started it, I was in Sydney, foreign area. Google Mapsing where there's an athletics track, you know, and that I can just go for a constant walk rather than roam the streets. But it's I read my first ever book. I finished it 2 days ago.
Okay.
And I'm not a book reader.
What book was it?
Can't Hurt Me.
Goggins.
And it was like the first 4 weeks of 75 Hard. It was talking to me.
Yeah.
Like every sort of stage, you know, the
I
shin
say that
splints,
the
the
75
pains.
Hard books themselves.
Yep.
Both books, Mental Toughness 75 Hard or Goggins, are probably a couple of the best books to read first.
Yep.
Because you feel personally attacked.
Yeah. And I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
you know what? This is extreme. If he can do it,
Yeah.
I can just walk through this little bit of shit.
Yeah. I'm just
you
going
know?
for a walk.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's pissing and shitting himself and
Yeah.
going down the wrong direction.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But actually, another Infinity client that I talked to, he just sent me the second book because he's like, hey, I just finished reading. I'll post it to you.
Yeah, right.
And I'm like, awesome. It's rocked
Pretty
up.
weird
So I've got-
community.
it's awesome. It is.
You should have seen the Express post that it came in. He put FTB.
Yeah, FTB all over it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Who was that?
David Potter.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's so good.
Yeah. So.
Well, he's got no excuses because he trains where Lenny and Casey train.
Oh, really?
So I don't think he can actually get away with anything.
No,
They might walk past him on the gym floor and give him a tap. So
Yeah.
He did a spin class yesterday and he said that Lenny nearly killed him.
pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's focus on
Yep.
you guys. So give us a bit of background for people listening at home, who you are, where you're based, what the story looks like.
Yeah, sure. So we're Kate and Alex King and we're from Melbourne. So up in the lovely Gold Coast this
And
weekend.
you brought the weather with you, right?
Yeah,
We always do.
I was in
everyone said
Melbourne
that.
all week and
It's
I'm like, I
tremendous
think
in
I
Melbourne
brought
at the
it
moment.
back.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it has been a little bit wet up here, but so obviously, we joined Infinity. It was our Infinity birthday actually only last week. So 1 year with Infinity. So before we joined Infinity, we had just under a $600,000 home loan.
Okay, it's
So,
decent size.
Yeah. And I was thinking that I was doing really well. I had probably maybe up to 15 different bank accounts that I like to label.
Just 15. Okay. Yeah.
I know.
Sorry.
And I would label them little things like bills, rates, holiday, night out. Like I just had that many little bank accounts.
So you were like, what's the name of the guy in Ice Age with his nut?
Oh, I'm exactly like
Yeah,
that.
like that, squirreling it away here and there.
Yeah,
and-
yeah. And I thought, you know what? I'm all over my money. I know where everything is, and I've got savings for this and that.
Okay.
And that was just my mindset. And you don't know what you don't know. So
How long were you operating that structure?
So we met. Alex was 22 and I was 26 when we first met.
Toy boy.
Yeah.
Alex was working at a lawnmower shop.
Yep.
Yeah, and I was working in hospitality and retail.
Okay.
I'd just come back from living overseas. I'd lived in London and Edinburgh for about a couple
Terrible.
of years. I know, but came home with nothing.
Right.
God bless my mum. She kept my Lancer in the garage for me and drove it around every week. And when I got home,
That's a fully sick car to keep, by the
oh
way.
yeah,
I bet you wish you still had it today.
4-door silver Lancer.
Ooh,
With a spoiler.
with a body kit. Fully
And
I'd buy that.
it had the Pioneer head unit
Oh, yeah.
that was
Oh, yeah,
detachable.
Yeah.
Kids
Yeah.
don't know what they're missing
No.
these
No.
days.
Take the head unit into
Detachable
a
head
nightclub.
so no one would steal it.
Yeah.
In your pocket in the case.
Yeah, well, funny you say that. My car got broken into once, and I did take the head unit and had it in my handbag, but they stole my mixed CDs.
Oh, yeah. The wallet.
My wallet.
They had nothing to play.
Kids these days also will never know the struggle of trying to change CDs
No.
at 110 on the highway. Not that that's a thing,
Yeah.
but anyway.
Anyway, so I'd got back from overseas living with my mum. You were still living at home with your parents.
Yep.
And then slowly but surely we got a rental together, and then we bought our first home in Mill Park.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Remember
was
how much you paid for it?
$396.
That was so funny.
Hang on. $396 for the first home, but you said you just owed just under $600 when
Yeah.
you started with Infinity.
Yep.
So then we had that one. We had that house for how many years did we
2
have
years.
that house?
So
2
we bought.
years?
Yeah, it was actually a weird situation with that house. We were renting, and I said, I always at the end of our court, I said I'd love to buy that house. And I was
Right.
going away on a work trip, and Kate rang me and goes, "You wouldn't believe it. They've just put a sign up." And this is like complete novices, right? Like we had nothing to our name.
We had no money. We would have probably got like 100%
we
loan or
just tend
something.
to now reflecting, just make shit happen, and we don't realise. Anyway, so everything worked in our favour. The open house, like a couple of months as it goes, the open house was on grand final day, the final one, so no one was there.
No one was there.
No one turned up.
We ended up
were
putting
the
an
only
offer
That's
in.
a
people.
dumb day to run an open house if you're an agent.
Yeah. And anyway, long story short, we ended up buying that, living in it for 2 years. There was a bit of growth in it.
Okay.
We sold that for $500. We moved,
Down Mornington
down the
Peninsula.
peninsula,
Yeah.
and that was almost a straight swap. We refinanced at some point, and
We
just to
refinanced a
renovate,
lot.
do all that sort of stuff. So it's and then as you learn now, you're really paying nothing off your principal.
So
in those
when
first
we
5
when
years.
we moved down to Mornington, renoed, etc., that's when the debt was sort of just under 600, 580, 590.
Yeah.
Oh no, well, yeah, I don't know. I didn't really look at the bank accounts.
All right, Minister for Finances,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
So we
Like
we-
that. Oh.
Hey, well, yeah, I'm not going to lie.
look, it was
I don't
really
know.
interesting before we came to this. I actually had done a bit of a cleanup of my emails,
Right.
and I had a lot of emails. I mean, from say 2012 when we first got our mortgage,
Right.
with a lovely lender who would send you a scratchy at Christmas. I had hundreds and hundreds of emails from them, and it was really interesting because some of the emails actually said, you know, your interest rate has dropped. Would you like to refinance?
Right.
And we did that multiple times. You know, if we needed a little bit extra money to do some renovations on the house.
And would you just get a little bit more money or refinance the whole thing?
Sometimes he would get like obviously refinance
50 grand or 100
whatever,
grand?
yeah, whatever we needed.
Or sometimes the whole thing and start again.
Yeah, well, often we would swap banks if that was
Just
whoever.
for a little bit better interest rate.
Yeah,
But
that
and
was the
then
thing. We were
extended
celebrating, you know?
Start for
another
30 years
30
again.
years.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
fucking how good.
I've got multiple emails of us doing that, and that's just what we thought. You know, you don't know what you don't know. You know, we thought that was the way.
Okay. So when did you start with him? Why did you find us? When did you find us? When did we start?
So I saw you on socials.
Okay.
And look, rewinding to set the scene a little bit, probably just before COVID, we sort of had really settled in. We were probably married for, 8 years or something at that point. And we thought, I had a mate of mine who sort of inspired me. What he was doing properties, he's a business owner. So I look up to him. He's a little bit older than me. And I was, you get in those struggles trying to compare yourself to him. And I was getting frustrated, like, how can he do this?
How can he do this?
So we
Yeah.
started looking at, let's buy an investment property.
Okay.
And it was like, I started researching, off the plan or buying, renovating, doing all that sort of stuff.
All the
and
different options.
all that sort of
Yeah.
stuff. And then, I think COVID sort of hit and we just pulled back
Okay. As most people do.
and so we had it in the back of our minds, but not the confidence.
Right.
And I must have seen a clip or a couple of clips of you. And then I said, like, stuff it, like free webinar. Let's just do it. So Kate had to go to bed to go to work early in the morning. So I said, look, I'll do it. If I see any sense in it or if it resonates with me at all. And I texted her pretty much while I was still in it. I said, you got to watch this. So I went away for work, and it was like the 2 Tuesdays later, Kate watched it, and she's texted me while I'm away going, just signed us up to the masterclass.
Oops.
And I'm like, cool. You know, we're like, well, what's the worst that can happen? You know, like we're going to learn a bit, you know, because being people, we've never signed up to this or we've never really done courses or any of these sort of online classes. We just evaluated and said, well, look, what's the worst that's going to happen? You know, let's take a punt. And
we offer a money back guarantee as long as we're not full of shit.
Yeah.
So we can't help you. Here you go.
Yeah. I mean, but even at that point, we didn't know, you know, like people can offer a guarantee and then disappear.
Is
so
it
it's
real?
like,
Is it bullshit?
Yeah, we weighed it up and said, look, it makes sense. Let's give it a crack. So that's, we did that. 3 or 4 weeks later, we ended up getting on the masterclass.
No, it was much quicker.
2
So
weeks later.
Alex obviously did the free webinar. I did it probably a week after that. I think you happened to have a masterclass that weekend, and I literally signed up for that one.
And when was this, sorry?
This was in May 2024.
24.
Yeah.
So that was our masterclass that we did.
That's right. We just had our birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it just took off.
Yeah.
Like, so within, like, your team were amazing.
Well, let's go back a step.
Yeah.
Did the masterclass together?
Yes.
Okay. Talk us through that for people that don't know what the hell we're talking about.
Okay.
Talk us through. So you listen to this crazy, psychotic, more issue than Vogue little housing commission kid for 45 minutes, 50 minutes, yelling at people and, no, that's fucking dumb. You know, you listen to that and go, I rate this because the numbers make sense or whatever it is. Let's talk through the mask because it's 2 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's on Zoom now, so everyone in Australia can do it. It's more affordable with a money back guarantee. Explain to me your, I guess I call them light bulb moment, aha moment, or oh fuck moments.
Yeah.
Explain to me what it was like to go through, because the morning's a bit of a recap of the webinar.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gets into a bit more detail, because sometimes one of you have been, not the other, so I have to recap and remind you.
Yep.
Especially if it's been 3-4 weeks. Then it starts to get a bit more technical.
Yeah. Yeah.
What was that process like for you? Like, was there any aha moments, or it kind of just made sense, or?
Yeah. Well, another story on the masterclass is, you know, still skepticism, everything we're going in. But so I got my laptop, streamed it to TV. We figured it's going to be a long weekend. So we got ourselves comfortable.
Yeah.
And the first opening credit, or the first opening sort of video that you played,
Yeah.
we're both watching the screen and we're like, was that Gabby? We're like, really? Like, you know, and we're like, oh, okay. I said, look, don't message her. Don't nothing, you know, she could be part of this. It's a scam.
Part of this scam.
You know?
Is this Gabby Fisher?
No, Gabby
Gabby and Nathan.
and Nathan.
Oh,
Yeah.
Peoples.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And
Because so I'm thinking of a couple of key Gabbys
Yeah.
in videos, but yeah.
But yeah, that was like, we're like, she's a real person and we know her.
Yeah. But I said, don't
Maybe
message
she's
her.
got a side gig for acting.
Yeah, exactly
I
right.
was thinking that.
Like, I am Dr. Skeptic, you know, like I'll research the hell out of anything just to make myself comfortable with it, you know. But yeah, so I said, okay. And I hated school. I couldn't focus, all that sort of stuff. And I was there from 8 o'clock in the morning. Kate left halfway through some of the work throughs at night time. Like she was obviously buggered from working the night before. And I think I went to bed like 11:30 that night.
So it was a long one, I did.
Yeah, and I was just like captivated. And I'm like, never got into bed. I said, never before have I ever sat through anything ever and focused on it, because it's just
Money
the way,
boner.
the way you're engaging and but the way you outlay the information, even drawing, making it visual.
Yeah.
I was just like, okay, I can. All these little questions that have had, you know, gave us doubt before to go and try it ourselves or do anything. Okay, it's actually really simple, but you've just got to be able to.
It's very complex, but I'm very good at distilling
Yeah,
it
yeah, exactly
and
right.
making it
Yeah, and that's the
simple
way it's-
to understand.
Yeah, and the way it's communicated to us is like, oh shit, like, okay, I get this now. Obviously, there's still having the bandwidth to be able to, you know, execute it.
Yep.
But the second day, I think we got probably halfway through it, and I said, message Gabby. You know, and she's just like, oh my God, I can't believe you found Infinity, you know.
She's like, they changed my life. She's like, are you doing it? I'm like, I'm getting the credit card out now.
Yeah.
I hadn't told him to cut them up by then.
I know.
Like, cut them up. Oh wait, no, you needed to pay me. Wait,
Yeah. Well, I had to pay you first. But yeah, no, it was actually really, really good to obviously, you know a real person from day dot.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so that helps, I guess, with the skeptic.
That was
because the numbers are important, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's typically men, typically social media, all of them. It's like, there's no way my husband's going to sit there for 9 to 5. I'm like, well, I actually go 9 to 9 if people behave. I'll give free coaching for another 4 hours for free.
Yeah.
People are like, there's no way he's going to sit for 12 hours. And usually, I say, oh, this is pretty good. It's the husband's sitting there. All of a sudden, they're a little bit financially aroused, and they do a 12-hour stint with me, and they're like going to be like, oh, babe, blah, blah, blah. You're like, shut the fuck up. I want to go to sleep.
I know. So, yeah, Alex, obviously, you know, what did you drop out of school? Year 10?
Yeah, I never picked up my year 10 report, so I don't know if I passed or not.
Right.
So, and then mechanic by trade. So, you know, that's been his journey his whole life. So for him to sit in and learn with you on that day, first day, I was like, wow, this is a game changer.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's created, obviously, it's almost like a new focus. I mean, not that you weren't focused, you had someone you looked up to, you aspired to, but it's given you what is quite complex, and you've had to research, sort of put it all together in one easy to understand format.
Yeah. I mean, it was still, the joining part was pretty daunting still. Like we went through it pretty quick as well. Post masterclass.
Yep.
They essentially said to us, there's a REM in Melbourne. If you guys can, like, it's a bit unorthodox to what we normally do, but
fucking Louis.
Yeah,
it was Louis. It was Louis.
Yeah.
I've got evidence.
Sorry, Louis.
So I'm looking at the team. I've got
Sorry.
evidence. I've got video footage and audio now. Because it's like, guys.
I mean, no, it wasn't Louis.
No, it wasn't Louis at all. I always know it's
Sorry,
Louis.
Louis.
It's never Ellie. But it's like, because we say, look, stick with us for 90 days.
Yep.
In that first 90 days, if you do everything I say, more will come off your principal than it did all last year.
Yeah.
When you see that proof, now come along and listen to Doc and myself and lawyers, you know, and then start understanding investing. But the first 3 months, just balls to the wall, let's smash down debt.
Yep.
And there's always someone, I'm like, I'm in a REM, right? And there's like 600-700 people. I'm like, so who's here, like, being long, who's here? And who's here under 3 months? And then all these hands, I'm like, fucking Louis.
I think we were 9 days.
Yeah, it was.
Right.
Yeah, so it was like.
So that's pretty, like, bullshit detectors on high, antennas up, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was amazing. So obviously, you know, for me, I know the numbers, I know the paperwork. Louis like, I need all your paperwork by tomorrow. I don't think I slept. I got all the paperwork done. I got everything off to Infinity. Right. Every time they wanted something extra, I was like, yep, it's done. And then, you know, they sent through you going to REM, and I was like, wow.
Well, that speaks volumes to your results, because you started owing what, 580?
Yeah, just under 600.
Yeah. Okay, a year ago.
Yeah.
And what do we owe today?
79.
$79,000.
Yeah.
So we've obviously sold some things.
Yeah. Bits and pieces.
Okay, but they're saleable assets that, had you not been at Infinity, like most people, you never would have fucking sold.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
We would have just added to the assets.
And to be transparent too.
Toys.
Our first plan with Infinity, the boat was off the cards.
Been there, done that.
I know. Yeah.
Best day was the day I fucking sold it.
Yeah. Oh, look, it was to a point where it was my separation almost for sanity as well.
Yep.
You know. And like, even my boss said to me, he goes, I can't believe you're selling it, because he actually. Liked me going there to separate, clear head, do stuff from that's my office. But so that was off the cards at the beginning, and what we did at the first REM, and it literally was a situation with the boat that, there was a lovely gentleman who I'm now friends with, was looking to buy the Riv behind me, and what didn't work out, and then he said to me, would you sell yours? And I thought,
meant to be.
I think
I've got to make a non-emotional financial decision here.
Yeah.
And I said, look, because I sort of overanalyze everything. And I'm like, okay, I know how long boats sit on the market for. I got someone here. I just finished it. And I knew mentally that the project had almost finished for me.
Yep.
Went through 2 weeks, sale done, dusted,
Wow. Boats can take years to sell.
Yeah.
Years.
There's a couple that are still for sale, including that one that it is still for sale. And it's been 12 months next week.
So and that's an interesting thing to give people context. So 588,
Yep.
a year later, 79,000.
Yep. We can't believe it's still too.
No.
We're
And I run the numbers in my notes in my phone. You'll see that there's a monthly breakdown.
Tracking it.
Every single month, I'm tracking every expense, and a lot of it is just our mental mindset. And Karen, who's been absolutely amazing, a part of our team. Meeting with her to begin with, and Alex was very funny. He hasn't touched on this part of the story, but when we first met with Karen, he was very, very direct around what he would and wouldn't sell, and how
Karen would have went, oh, I'll go get G.
No, she said, okay, well, if that's what it is, then it's your
goals.
This is
you
what
can
you
do this instead of this.
Yeah. And
then all of a sudden, I think it wasn't even a month, you called Karen and you said, Karen, I've sold the boat. And she's like, no.
Yeah.
She was so excited.
I did a Zoom with her, I think, when we were first starting out, and I was on the boat. And, like, here I was walking around with the laptop. I'm like, oh, there's my bedroom. There's this. She's like, oh, yeah. Like, she's probably like, we're going to sell that.
You just don't know it yet.
Yeah, you just don't know it yet. She was already planting the seed.
Yeah.
But, and look, the thing is, it's, for me, and my drive behind it, because I know, and I've spoken to a lot of people, even at a couple of REMs, guys with,
Toys.
Cars, sentimental, all that sort of stuff. And this boat was a huge part of my life. Like, if I'm not working, I'm fishing. That's my life. It's all I do. I don't drink at the pub, nothing like that. That's it. And this was my pinnacle. That I had a goal of 35 by 35, and I did that. So
we'd progressively, Alex has had boats for like the last 10 years. He started with a tinny.
Yeah, and worked your way up.
Just the way it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
But my main thing and my main driver is really, I'm going to buy another boat.
Okay.
Right. At first, the carrot was dangled. I thought, if we can knuckle this down. We left that first REM and said, let's go as hard as we possibly can for the first 12 months and see what happens.
Okay.
The results speak for themselves.
So it's 588,000 on the loan.
Yep.
24, 25 years left to pay.
Yep.
A year later, $79,000. And this is the thing. People have toys. People have investment properties. People make their old home an investment. It's fucking not.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
You invest to make money. You don't make money unless you sell. So you guys are a perfect example. But 588, 24, 25 years left. A year later, 79,000.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
How many investments?
Now? 6, yeah.
So 588 down to 79 and added 6 investments because you got rid of the toys and the bullshit and the other things.
Yeah.
So now, not only is your home loan pretty much zero, it's nearly gone. We'll talk about that in a minute. You've also added 6 investments to the portfolio.
Yeah.
In 1 year.
Yeah.
How does that feel?
It's
Not
epic.
real.
Yeah, it's epic. And that sort of, that plan through the progression, because it wasn't like 6 all at once. It was as we hit targets, and Karen would just say, well, another $100,000 you redraw, we'll start to do something else. And like 3 weeks later, Kate's like, Karen, there's another $100,000. She's like, shit.
So I think Karen was setting me goals, thinking
So had you sold another property?
No.
Just toys.
We never had any properties.
There was really the boat. We had
that's
some
going to
shares.
be people are listening going, what are they? Okay, a boat?
Yep.
Some shit. But you didn't have your old house you sold.
No,
You had your home
we're still in the same
and a lot of
house.
toys and some shares.
And the rest is literally rapid repay.
Rapid
And it's
repay.
like
That's the big one.
Yeah, that's the big chunk. Like rapid repay is the same amount as the boat.
Wow.
When you start to look at the numbers and you can
So
just
you've done a
calculate
couple
that.
of hundred in rapid repay and a couple of hundred in the boat.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah. So it's just changing a mindset on your spending. Even coming up here for the 2 days, I'm looking at the prices of coffee.
I mean, you have that realization.
Coffee's fucking expensive.
Yeah, but this is where it all went. Like we're like super focused now because it's almost a game for us.
Yeah.
I mean, as everyone will say, it gets addictive.
Yeah,
and
hell
you
yeah.
don't know you're in it until you're in that addictive game of starting to recognize the shit.
But
that
it's
you're
also
buying.
when you start, like when you help out and you share your story.
Yeah.
And you see what people ask when you were there.
Yeah.
And besides wanting to face palm yourself, you genuinely want to help. But
Yeah.
It's like they make statements, they're not questions, right?
Yeah.
So you
Yeah,
try to really
you
help,
hear
but
it.
you're like, but because you've been there yourself. Mm-hmm. So you're like, well, hang on a minute. They're like saying, they're asking this, but they're really saying, they're not asking. And you're like, guys, I was there too. Like, it's pretty wild.
Yep. And that was the questions, because I'm not really a public question asker. So I'll do a lot of listening to hopefully other people ask the questions that are in my mind and let them be the ask.
Which they do. Yeah. They can be the knobsticle ask.
Yeah. I'm like, oh, cool. Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you.
Yeah.
I'm glad that wasn't me. They just got roasted.
Yeah, I know, but now I know. But yeah, it's...
We do it anonymously now, right? We have
Yeah,
the big
yeah.
boxes.
you got the boxes.
Yeah.
But then I'm like,
I haven't
no,
put one in there yet.
No,
I will.
Shit.
But no, it's... Yeah, that's the huge part. The first light bulb moment for me was month 1. Once we'd just done the REM. All our strategy was set.
All the dust had settled.
FFF was done.
What's your FFF?
500, 550.
Yeah, but I wouldn't even spend that.
No.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm conscious on every single transaction, you know. So, you know, if we are, you can probably talk about the watch you were thinking about buying because he's getting into his fitness with his 75 hard.
Yeah.
And he was like, I wouldn't mind one of these fitness watches.
Apple watches or Polar
Nah,
watches.
Yeah, it's a Garmin watch. that I
Garmin
wanna
watch,
get. Yeah.
And then he started looking at the prices. He goes, I just can't justify it. You know, it's too much. You know, he goes, maybe I'll buy it for my 40th birthday. But that mindset 13 months ago, we just would have bought it.
You've got to remember, pretty much all, we work so hard, we deserve it. No,
That's the
fuckhead.
way we were.
What
though.
you deserve is when
Exactly.
you do need to want to buy a garment, you can afford it, but not put it on the credit card or not go backwards every month, or when your kids need to. You actually deserve to live a comfortable life.
Yeah.
Not just buy shit every day.
Yeah.
My problem was I ended up selling a camera that I had that I wasn't using. And I've actually sold a fair bit of my fishing gear because I figured when I buy the new boat, I'll buy all new gear rather than it sit there and get dust, yeah?
It's like me now, when I talk to men about cars, I'm like, gentlemen,
Yep.
take it from someone who's had every car under the sun.
Yep.
Right? I'm talking every car under the sun to what I have now,
Yep.
which is a collection.
Yeah.
Correct.
But a guilt-free collection. If I want to go out and buy something wild every day or month, I can.
Yeah.
And I do.
Yep.
But I got there first. I went without. I drove a $14,500
Yep.
bashed up Volkswagen Passat Jetta. I can't even
judge. Won't
I used to pull to the left. I think it had a broken, but it was $45 diesel to fill it.
Yep.
And I could get from the Port Macquarie office to the Sydney office.
Got you where you need to be.
Right?
That's
And it was
it.
like, up the motor. But hey, did the job. I drove that for 3.5 years. I just went without. I was practical.
Yep.
Then I was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm going to go get a nice car.
Yep.
And I actually worked my way up, and I went and got an Audi, and then I slowly but surely worked my way up.
Yep.
So today I can do whatever the fuck I want. And it's hard. I speak to them and they're like, I've got a Tirana SLR 5000. I've got a VL Walkinshaw. I've got and it's like, mate, fuck it off.
Yep.
And when you do try to sell them, they're not worth the 150 you thought. You end up with 80.
Yeah, yeah.
And you go, oh, it's worth. It's only worth what someone will pay for it.
Exactly right.
And then it's always the question: is that your dream car? Because I used to say that I'd love to have a VL turbo, whatever, Walkinshaw, this, a Gemini with a turbo. And I'm like, maybe I want a Lamborghini. Maybe I want a Ferrari.
Or a Mini Cooper, the lady on... Wasn't that
The
hilarious?
landscaper lady
Yeah,
with a pink
tows a
Mini
ride on with a
Cooper
Mini.
that tows
What a
a
legend.
ride on and a
That was
trailer. And
I was crying.
I'm like,
I was
imagine the
absolutely
ATO
crying.
Yeah.
ordering this lady tradie landscaper, pink Mini,
Yeah.
towing a ride on. I'm like, she's getting ordered like there's no
Yeah.
tomorrow.
The story just kept like I was like,
She
I
actually-
could see what you guys were trying to do, and it was like
I couldn't win.
No,
I
you
didn't
can't.
know where to go. I was
No.
done. I surrender.
it was like, all
That's it.
right.
Coming from a different angle, different day. And also, poor Robbie.
Fucking Robbie. Fucking Robbie.
Oh, that made me laugh. And we just popped in.
That was like 40 minutes into the session.
Yeah.
But again, and I think that's something for people you pick up really quick with me. This is fun now.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's not money. I will, if you're a fuckwit and you're going to ruin everyone's experience, I'll give you your money back, fuck you off and get rid of you 40 minutes into a 12-hour session.
Yeah.
I don't care.
And we thought I just thought I'll pop into this masterclass.
you guys were on that one?
refresher.
Yeah,
Yeah. We
yeah.
just sat silently because I remember when we did our masterclass, he said, you guys can pop in if you really wanted to, but just don't get on the chat bar or anything
we
like
get in
that.
the chat just if you hijack the questions.
Yeah,
it's not
yeah,
fair
yeah.
on
So
the
I was
new
just
people.
same
We
again,
were
had
just
it on the
like
screen.
loitering in the
You
background.
ruined my weekend. I did nothing. I sat on that couch and watched 2 days of masterclass, again. And
As a refresher.
Yeah. And I'm messaging Chantel and I'm like, hey, I feel like I've just, it just gave me a bit of a refresher.
Yeah.
Even though we know what we've done, I think
You're still
I put
learning.
in your comments, I think, on Facebook. I said it was like watching a movie for the second time and you pick up all the little bits you don't get.
Yeah.
Because you got all
It's
this
almost
excitement
like,
at first.
That wasn't in the movie the first time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't see that, And so, I'd recommend it. Like if it's every now and then, maybe once every 2 years or whatever, as clients, just jump in because
Yep.
it's always nice just to
But watch it in the portal.
Yeah, watch it in the portal.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's probably watch it in the
I'm
portal.
gonna.
We
I'm
hijacked
actually
into
gonna
a live.
cut it up so it's a syllabus shortly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'll cut it up like a syllabus where you
Yeah.
can go
Almost
in,
like
in the
online learning.
Well, I had the online
Yeah.
course previously. I used to do online, and that was a syllabus. So
Yeah.
you have a progress
Little-
bar.
Yep.
So I'm
Yeah.
gonna cut it up shortly and pop it in there as a syllabus for people.
Yeah.
I think that's
Because
a really good point, is that you, even if you're not with Infinity, you can just keep on learning.
Yeah.
And even if you've done the free webinar, you've done the masterclass, don't stop learning. Obviously we're learning from your amazing content that you provide us, but we're also learning from, we caught up with Kez last night
Yep.
and some amazing
The
Infinity
networking
members.
of the
Community.
the community is astronomical. Like,
Steve and Sue-Ann had dinner with Craig and Kim Rosewall.
Yeah.
And you had dinner with Kerry, and I seen you we're at Main Beach or
yeah, just down at Marine Mirage. Yeah, and I'm like,
taking
Gary.
a photo.
Yeah.
And then,
So it's white. Like people send me photos, and someone's in their Infinity shirt at Woolies at the checkout
Yeah,
or
yeah.
on their bike. Right, I'm like, it's pretty cool.
But the people, and also I find like at a REM, that's where I can sort of truly sort of let my head out. You can talk about anything. To anyone. Doesn't matter what level people are at.
Yeah.
Because everyone's got the same goal.
It's
Everyone's
funny
on the
too.
same page.
I watch everyone walk in on Thursday or Friday.
Yeah.
Bit of sphincterpucker,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, arms crossed. I
Yeah.
don't know about
Yeah,
this.
yeah,
And here I am smirking away going, all right, we'll see.
Yeah,
this."
yeah.
And they're just so enlightened and,
Yeah.
and mind open to
Yeah.
possibility. Once Doc's been in there and financial, it's just a different experience.
Yeah.
We always,
Then
like-
they go to the after party and I get a text message. They've hit the bar tab, which is 75 hard, right? So I'm going, Alex texts me. They go in at 10 to the after party. So I slipped out of the ballroom while they all went upstairs.
Yep.
I left. Alex texts me like 10:48. She's like, and we had the whole nightclub booked privately.
Yeah.
She's like, we've hit the minimum spend for the night
Oh no.
in like 48 minutes.
But that was the biggest one you'd had as well. So you would have had a lot of people.
600
Yeah,
people,
600.
700 people. It was a big one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've got another big one coming too now. So
Yeah.
But yeah, that was wild. They were all in party mode. They were celebrating something.
Yeah, exactly
Yeah.
right. Yep. And even that, like, I think February I made it. I wasn't on 75 hard, and we were up at the after party, and just one of the last to leave. More so the conversations you're having, especially when people start to really let their guard
they've
down
got to turn
after
the
they've
music
got
down.
an education. The whole thing about it is it's phenomenal. It's it's really
It's a pretty
difficult
cool
to explain.
experience. We have little pinch ourselves moments all the time,
Yeah.
where, like I'm backstage and I'm looking at the size of the room. Sometimes I walk into a room and I mean I've done ones with 5, 6, 7,000 people, but when it's like it's not Tony Robbins and it's not Gary Vee and it's not Richard Brent, when it's mine and Beck's room, you know what I mean, like our community.
Epic.
Sometimes I walk in and it's like, oh yeah, we did a 300 one, then we did a 500, then we did a 6 something, and we're doing 7, and then there's 1,000 at the end. I'm like, then we get a Christmas party.
That was
wild.
Yeah, that was wild.
amazing.
29th of November. I'm not going to say where because we'll need security and police, and we've got some cool shit in the works.
Yeah, well, we're
because
there.
I have to top last year.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
But
It was so good.
I'm telling you early, 500 grand this year for the Salvos came up.
Well, actually, I was
done.
going to touch
Yeah,
on that later because
We're going to
obviously
blow the roof
it
off
was
it.
amazing last year, and I was
All the presents out there because I think I took it a bit too far, but my thought process is if I can save you 10, 20, 30, 40 grand a year, surely you can chip in 2, 3, 400.
Yeah.
It's nothing, right?
Yeah.
Because some of our clients do become tight asses.
Yep.
I'm like,
we are tight asses.
yeah, but then I say like giving becomes really cool. Like Beck and I are huge fucking give as much as you can, right? For good purposes. And something that you care about, not for the sake of wanting to tell people you give, even privately, to just do it.
Yeah.
And when I look at the numbers, I'm like, well, if we can get 5,000 people just to chip in, and it's like, we can blow 500 grand, easily. But then I'm like, by the way, Christmas party, tickets are free. I'll pay for everything. And boy, did that budget blow. We're like, oh, we'll spend 500 grand, 7, 8, I think it was like 1.2 or 1.3 by the time it finished.
Wow.
Like all of SeaWorld, all of the Savage, Joel, Hot, that was wild.
Yep.
But I'm like, you also can't get in the gate unless you bring presents. There was like 4 or 5, because I come in the back, right?
It was
There's like
huge.
4 or 5 truckloads of, they were like, they weren't prepared for the amount of presents that people,
Yeah.
Yeah.
that was fucking cool. Like
Yeah.
that was super cool.
Yeah, it is epic. I remember on the MAM, I think it was when you launched it,
That was a blubbering mess.
Yeah, and then you flicked it up on the screen. It was already like 80 grand.
Well, I clicked it and it was like, I think somebody put a couple of 5 or 10 grand and I'm like, click. And I'm like, hey, you got, and like just live with a few hundred of us.
And we're like, whoa.
And I was like, I was getting emotional. It was wild. Like, it was like 70, 80 grand. It was like that. I'm like, I can't run the event anymore. Like I needed a break. I had to put Helena back on. It was really fulfilling to see that people gave a shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
We were on that one, and obviously I jumped on the Kmart website straight away to donate, and it was like their site was actually hemorrhaging.
The activity was like,
because I was like trying to get in, and then at the bottom you could see who was donating.
Yeah.
And obviously I was refreshing the page, and every time I refreshed, there was another 10 people that had donated all Infinity.
It's amazing.
Cool.
It is amazing. And look, Infinity in yourself gives so much to us that it's such a small thing, and it's starting that process of giving back as well.
Correct.
And that's one thing Kate has taught me. The more you give,
the more you'll get. The
universe. Think of it what
the
you want,
universe will
and
give
not,
you.
you'll receive.
Not give because you should be seen.
No.
Yeah, not
just give unconditionally.
Yep.
Correct.
Right? Like help family with a car or a medical
Yep.
bill or whatever, or help somebody less fortunate or buy a meal, like whatever it is. But do it because you want to do it.
Yeah.
And because trust me, it will feel good.
Yeah.
If you're not sure, try it.
Yeah, exactly
Just
right.
try it.
Yeah.
Not because it's tax deductible.
No.
Not because you see these influencers in the street. Like, you're never going to see me videoing myself in the street giving somebody, like, like, is it for you or for them? You know what I mean? Like privately or in a community together rally, right? Like I thought it was wild when A Current Affair did a story, and I'm like, and I'm not picking on like Current Affair do good stories, because those sorts of things are usually like chaos, and I'm like, Current Affair are coming, and it was amazing. Like, they got behind it so much online on the thing. They were there interviewing us, the Salvos, the Kmart, and then I didn't know Kmart very privately, right? I was sort of listening as I was walking past as they were doing the interview, because Beck seen a lady leaving with a lay-by, and she knows that when I was a kid, Mum would lay-by stuff all year.
Yep.
Right? And then during the year, if we got tight, we'd go to the counter and she'd let me see things that I wanted, and we'd put some back, pay the fees, and get some money for bills and pet. You'd take your lay-by money back. It was tough. So she seen a lady leaving with a lay-by. She's like, come on. And she's like, how much of the lay-by? We paid off all of the store lay-bys for a bit.
That's so amazing.
But as we were walking past arranging that, I was listening to the Current Affair interview. I think it was Trish from Kmart. And she's like, today Kmart's going to match dollar for dollar what Infinity have spent. I was like, oh, I'm in the feels. Like, because I think we spent 40 or 50 grand that day alone in the store. So that's pretty cool. Like, they really, like, their staff worked all night, tidying the shelves up and this. They're there all morning and they're not getting, like, it's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
But then to have families come into the office saying, hey, we went to pick our lay-by up or cancel it, it was paid for.
Yeah.
And we've got this and this and this and things, like, that was pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Like, Gino, people ringing in tears at reception and coming in. And but that sense of community and giving back, karma's a real thing.
100%.
Yeah, I'm a big believer.
Don't do it because you want anything, but I'm telling you, the more you give without expectation, it comes back tenfold.
Yeah.
Yep.
It really does.
Yeah. You can. I'm a firm believer in it.
Oh,
and it's you have those little karma light bulbs, and not to a specific thing of giving, but you're like, just sometimes you reflect on how lucky you are, or the situations, and just everything. Like, karma's a massive thing for me. So
massive.
I'm always a believer on, if you should be doing the right thing even when no one's watching.
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't do the right thing because someone's watching.
Yeah.
You do it just because you want. Like, we have done that since 2012.
Yeah.
With Beck and I together when we met. I've done it forever and a day because that's how I got a present as a kid. I think Mum was a bit thrifty because they had the Lord Mayor's wishing tree appeal and the Kmart salvo, and I think we double bubbled because I got 2 presents, but I'll never forget it. But good on her, she's hustling.
It's funny you talk about the lay-by. I remember that as a kid.
Do you remember the old
the black plastic
at
the back?
Yeah, in the back. And there was all like stock take dockets everywhere, and it was a putrid
There would have been like a pricing gun, like late 80s.
I vividly know that.
I remember
that counter.
going back there, and I remember again, growing up, we could probably have we'd say one gift,
Yep.
and God, we would have probably picked that in I don't know, maybe August, September,
Yep.
or maybe even the middle of the year.
Yeah.
And I remember going back there with mum because you'd pay cash.
Yeah.
You know, and she'd
Yep.
put like maybe it was $5 or $10, and that would be, and then at Christmas I'd be so excited that I was getting Barbie or
Yep.
whatever it might have been.
See how time. It's interesting how much times have changed. Now I see I want to get.
Yep.
You go through the shop. We used to put it aside, pick it, and wait half a year
Yep.
for it. Now, Afterpay,
Exactly.
Yeah.
credit card.
And it's
Yeah.
everywhere. Like even if you don't sign up for Afterpay, if you're doing something on PayPal, it instantly gives you, full
Yeah,
payments, $24 or
Klarna
whatever.
Pay, Afterpay,
Yeah.
fucking shit pay. Like, it's everywhere.
Yep.
So I think, reflecting on that moment we just talked about and bringing that into your mindset and what we're talking about with what we've paid off, it is that really big mindset shift. And, talking about even the example with Alex's watch, really considering purchases. So what do we need to buy? Obviously, food, fuel and fun. Obviously, I'm a very good budgeter. So I'm definitely, buying things at the supermarket
Yep.
as cheap as I can. But, I'm not having that instant gratification. I could have gone out and bought Alex's watch for him and he'd come home and gone, oh, thanks, know.
Awesome. Yeah.
But now we're so focused on these mini goals that we keep setting ourselves that, making a big purchase like that, we'll actually have a conversation about it,
It's a weird thing in a relationship.
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean-
whereas we never used to, if we wanted to buy something, we'd probably just go and buy it, put it on the credit card,
Yeah, after selling the bunch of stuff to save up the money for the watch, with the camera that I just sold, I can't buy the watch. I've got the money sitting there.
Yeah.
And I'm like, we're at 79K now. If I dump that into the mortgage, I might be down 75 and a half.
So when
or
do you
something.
think the 79,000 will be? Let's get you back in December. It's June now.
Yeah.
Let's get you back in December for another chat. What do you think the balance will be in December?
20.
So Alex turns 40 in February,
Okay.
and the goal was to try and pay it off before his 40th
Yeah,
birthday.
that was end of February. End of February was
So
the goal.
December, you reckon we're like 20 grand?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll keep.
Yeah, we've got there's a couple of things, but you've run all the numbers, so you know things that are coming online and all that sort of stuff with some properties. But I don't know. We'll find something else I can sell. We'll get there. Because at the end of the day, it's short term.
You might do up a
We're not
tinny.
even paying. Yeah, exactly
that.
right.
Yeah.
I might start doing some other work stuff on weekends. With some fishing stuff and all that sort of thing. So, but as the season gets a bit warmer at home, but yeah, it's.
So today then, 79,000. Let's hope we can knock off 59,000 in the next 6 months, which I know people think is wild, right? Mm-hmm. We'll come back to that in a second about how fucked up human beings are and how much shit we think we deserve and shit we buy.
Yeah.
You've got 6 investment properties now in 12 months. You've got a portfolio valued at what? How many millions of dollars?
About 5 mil.
About 5.
About 5 mil. All built in 12 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then our house on top of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which so that's all part of the carrot dangling.
It sounds shit, guys.
I know it's horrible.
What
I'm
were you
miserable.
thinking?
Look at my
Selling
eyes.
your
They're
boats and your cameras and what are you thinking?
No, it's all look at the end of the day. It's all for a long-term goal. And look, if you think it's going to happen overnight, it's the wrong spot.
There's no
But
get
it is-
rich quick. It's a process.
Yeah,
There's
exactly
no
right.
magical,
But hey,
no
in 12
magical
months,
unicorn here.
Like, yeah, I mean, in 12 months, look, the first month and our first sweep, that was my click when I said, how much did we sweep? And Kate said 10K. And I said, get the fuck out of town. Right?
But then you realise you would have been previously blowing 10K a month.
I was like, where did it come from?
This is exactly, and
Like-
the emotion he was showing me. He's like, have you been
blown-
hiding money all along?
Yeah,
He goes,
'cause-
where does it come
do
from?
you know what's really hard? Do you know how, and I don't mean disrespectfully, do you know how stupid I think people are?
Oh, man.
Because not stupid.
We thought we were stupid.
But like to
'cause
ourselves,
we'd
like,
been-
because I was this person, right?
Yeah.
Until Beck and I got together and we worked it all out. I was this person spending everything I earned
Yep.
and then wondering where it was gone and why I was struggling.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you locate 10 grand in 1 month.
Yep.
And you realise how fucked up we all are.
Yeah.
It's
not
crazy.
that we're not picking on it. We all make excuses, lazy, tap-taparoo, live in a zoo.
Yep.
And you're like, were you hiding money? Where
Yeah.
was it? Was it
Yeah,
under
yeah.
the mat?
Yeah.
Where? It didn't just appear.
Exactly. Kate had semi-trained me to feel like I was broke, like we were broke. 'cause I could
Jedi mind trick.
yeah, I could see one of the 15 odd accounts.
Yeah.
I just wouldn't let him see them.
So and I knew that there's something somewhere. So she's either saving or planning to leave.
But better that we
Right? It's one or the other. I'm a realist here, So look, we'll roll the dice. But
if she
would've
leaves
just-
me, I've still got a boat.
I was going to say, he would have just sailed away on the boat anyway.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You can have the house, I'll take the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that. That was the thought train behind it. But so I knew there was something going on somewhere, and we did have money for a holiday every year and that sort of stuff. But that was the two parts of it was the laziness, well, not laziness, just the I don't know the word for it, but we were just with bills and like private health insurances and never checking it, never going through stuff. The amount of money.
So let me ask this. Is there an absolute shift in focus? Like, pre-May last year,
Yep.
were you speaking about money much at all?
no.
No, we were going to
Okay.
die with debt.
Okay.
That was our plan.
But post-May last year, how often are you having a financial flirt, like a little money chat?
Daily.
Yeah. It's
Okay.
become like with our lives being relatively separate the last 12 years of our marriage,
Yep.
I'd go off and do my fishing thing. Kate
Yep.
does a yoga or whatever. And we were happy as anything. We had
Yep.
the greatest relationship. Not going to say losing the boat, like I still fish, but that was more of a separation for me because mechanically I'd be into it.
Yeah.
And I say this to a lot of people, like joining Infinity has really been another great thing for our relationship because one, we're doing it together.
Yeah.
Where, we're really conscious of our finances. We've never been I get in trouble for buying something or something like,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. We never did gifts beforehand. So if we wanted it, we'd go and get it.
Yep.
But yeah, we always discuss what are we doing? What's our goals? Where are we at? And obviously over this rapid sort of 12 months, like it's been exciting nearly daily,
Okay.
on what we're doing, what Kate's achieved. Oh, we've saved X amount on health insurance. Kate's really good at sitting down there and actually, picking a day, if, the weather's shit outside or
Yep.
something like that and going through insurances.
So you've really taken this by the... You haven't just gone, all right, rapid repay,
Yep.
do some investing and let it see. You're actually pretty engaged in the process.
Yep.
I mean, you
Yeah.
have to be. To go from 588 to 79 in 12 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to get 6 investments, like you're pretty engaged.
Yep.
Yeah, so for me, I think one of the big ones, and I did a post in our Infinity Fam group, is around the bills. And, we've been married for 13 years and, we had private health insurance that hadn't been checked in 15 years. I was covered for all these things. Alex was on a separate policy.
Right.
Our electricity was, some crazy rate, with the highest daily rate possible.
Yep.
I'd never looked at any of those things.
Just run with it.
Yet we had every streaming service that you could possibly get because, why not? Having all of those. So even in the bills account, I was able to really, bring that down just so that our monthly bills are really low now.
Okay. Let me ask you this. Actually, a couple of things. Has your extravagant success in such a short space of time changed any relationships with family and friends? Many?
Yeah, I guess it's...
And
we've noticed
is it from a that's bullshit, not possible? Or is it from a I love you, your family, I want to see you do well, but not better than
actually,
me? Is it jealousy or confusion? What do you think?
I'll say probably not many, but it's...
I'm not ragging on
it's-
friends and family.
No,
'cause
no,
I know
no.
for Beck and I,
Yeah,
we've got
it's-
friends and family that adore us and we do a lot for.
Yep.
We've also got friends and family that we've completely cut.
Yep.
Because they're not happy for us. And it's like, cool, well, then I'm just going to cut you.
Yeah, really quickly, because I'm a talker with anything I do. Like if I'm going to buy something, I like to talk to people, get their opinions, because it can trigger things and
Feedback.
change your perspective.
Yeah.
So my, let's say, conversation range with people is quite broad.
Yep.
And I reckon within a month, it narrowed to literally probably 3 people.
Right.
Like one of my best mates, another really good friend of my boss.
Yep.
And that's it. Like even people...
So you think a lot of people don't want to hear it because it's hard? Because
Yeah.
it's not easy. But
Yeah.
it becomes easy.
Everyone just
Yeah.
thinks, oh, be careful. Like, and you get really sick of hearing it. It's like, mate,
Yeah.
like I can see...
I can see my balance is 79
month
grand.
number 1, I'm like, and that's what happened. Like I saw that figure with the first sweep and I'm like, Well, this
You
is
can't fake it.
No.
I
It's the
think
same in the grip, right? So someone, oh, my this, my that. And I'm like, if you did exactly what I fucking told you to do, you wouldn't be having this question.
Yep.
Well, I think that was our biggest thing is obviously Karen set the goals and she said, you know, if you do this, this and this is where I can get you. And we've just done everything that Infinity has guided us with.
That's the key.
And, you know, and then looked for more opportunities, you know, when Karen said, okay, well, if you get us, you know, a bit more in the redraw, we could get you another property. I was like, okay. And we'd have a conversation about
we talk
that.
about, all right, how are we doing it?
How are we going to get there?
Okay.
You know, Karen's given us 6 months. I reckon I can do it in 3.
Yeah.
You know, so just really pushing the boundaries and then, you know, just constantly being engaged with our team, you know, Ada, Chantel, Karen, just constantly telling them, you know, if I have a little win, I'll send them a text saying, hey guys, you wouldn't believe what I've done today. And they're just so supportive. You know, I've never had that from a company before where they are just...
No one in Australia does it.
No.
Because you've got to think about the cost to have full-time people to hold your hand. Instead of transacting, to transform.
Yeah.
And that's expensive.
Yeah.
And you've got to find really good human beings.
Oh, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
And they're just there to celebrate the wins. That's your biggest thing. And I think the community just holds you accountable as well. And then...
Well, if you post a fart in the private group...
you don't even have to do it.
I don't even have to answer anymore.
No.
I went to answer one yesterday on the way to here. And I'm like, no, I got in the car, put the phone down. I drove to the cafe.
Yeah.
And someone else was on
I
it.
ordered back up again.
No, I thought, I'm not going to look. I waited like 40 minutes. I had my coffee, had my poached eggs. Nick wasn't there to steal half my bread. It was great.
How many eggs did you have?
2.
Oh.
Two, just 2.
Nice.
I'm down to 1.
Sucks, doesn't it?
I know.
Anyway, I got in the car. I'm going to look, and like 17 or 30. I don't know. It was a bit. So many people had responded to that. I'm like, community's got this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And they were all really good answers. No one. I would have been pretty aggressive because I'm like, I roll, right?
Yeah.
But they were all very genuine answers. Some of them quite detailed with results and I think that's so unique because if you get on a fucking wanky forum like a Reddit, people are just whinging about what you can't do or how great they are. Whereas these are people that are actually smashing debt, doing this, doing that are there to share and care. So I think that's pretty cool.
I know you love your numbers, and I think probably the biggest one, Alex, is similar with the numbers, is that first sweep was more than we'd actually paid off our mortgage the entire last year.
Yeah.
And we did that in 1 month.
So I think everyone's an idiot.
Yeah.
And I'm not being disrespectful. Like my industry.
Yeah.
I think like 20% amazing human beings, life-changing, do great work for people. 80% salespeople.
Yep.
Don't do it themselves. Probably not in a better position than the clients they're not advising, they're selling.
Yep.
It's really scary.
Yep.
So I want to pick your brain, but for the people that are listening in at home, and maybe they haven't seen the free webinar, they can go watch it whenever they want for free, but read a book, whatever, podcasts. They're listening to this in the car or on YouTube. They're like, shit, I kind of relate to these guys. I've got a boat. I don't think I'd ever want to sell the boat, but I'm listening because obviously these guys have paid off nearly their whole house and got 6 investments. Or, I used to talk to people about this, but now I can only talk to 3 people about it. Clearly there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
Because the 7 of 10 don't have a clue and the 3 get it, right? What guidance, advice, what words of wisdoms could you, it's only been a year, what words of wisdom could you share with people at home to go, hey, you should consider this, maybe try this? What guidance could you share for those people at home?
Probably for you when we were at the REM and you were talking to a lot of the guys, because Alex is a car guy as well, so there's a lot of people who've got cars that they can sell.
If they've done the first sort of a process to really sort of kickstart it, is really assess what you've got. Like there is, sentimental things, say a car, and I know especially, with a nice Ford Escort, like to get rid of it or something like that. But my vision is with the boat, I sold it, but it's not a forever thing. With
you got it.
It's I say short-term pain, but we haven't gone through any pain. We've just
changed.
All pleasure. Exactly. And and it's all light bulbs. Thinking, gosh,
because you would have heard me say to Marcia, gentlemen, if you're a man and you have a 30-year home loan and you've got a 100 grand car in the garage, fucking be a man and sell the car. A real man. And then you hear me, I say, ladies, if your husband comes to you and says, I'm selling my childhood dream Tirana, Ford S, whatever it is, right? And we're going to dump 100 grand off our home loan and be 15 years ahead or 10 years ahead, would you then be proud of your man and then times the 6% you don't pay for the next 30 years on that debt And are you okay with him going and buying a 200 grand car in 5-10 years time? 3
Yeah.
years
Of course.
time?
Yeah.
And you go, of course. We're so far ahead.
Yeah. And
we
it's
can
part
do
of
it for
our
free now because we didn't pay the interest.
Yeah. It's part of our long-term plan too, because we've set our probably 5-year and where we want to look in 10 years. Because when you look at it, it's like the last 10 years went pretty bloody quick. You know,
Yeah.
like this first 6 months just of this year's absolutely mental.
It's June today.
I know.
Yeah.
So, it's. I mean, don't get me wrong. I look at boat sales every night when I go. Look, it's just
Every
thinking,
day.
I like to watch
I
the
get
market
nervous.
like you probably look at property. I see what the boats
Boats,
are doing.
cars, property every day.
Yeah, you know.
I'm never going to buy another boat, but I like to look.
Yeah, I'll take you out on when I get mine. All right.
Good deal.
You know?
Best boats are other people's boats.
And
That's
learning
what- that's
that
what he's
too.
running on at the
That was
moment.
that was a shift too. Also,
Get on, get off.
part of the plan was once I saw the opportunity and sold the boat, I said to, I think it was to Karen or it might have been to Ada or I said, look, I'm still going to be fishing. I'm going to be fishing on other people's boats. And my rule is you always pay your way in diesel.
Yep.
You know, fishing on a game fishing boat.
Yeah.
So I said, look, I'm going to need X. And they said, yep, cool. They put it into our strategy. And I said, look, I don't need it in a lump sum.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to, over the marlin season, I'm going to need X, 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 and X.
Yep.
And I ended up, probably half of what I had sort of allocated.
Okay.
But that was probably more because you're really conscious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's all, but that end goal for anyone that
Got a car,
doesn't want to get rid of their
caravan.
toy, their car, their bike, they've got an old Harley or something
Yep.
like that.
Yeah.
There's always a better one. Like what I've got my goal for seems to me right now, even in the position we're in, is ridiculous.
Okay.
Right? But
Till you get it.
Yeah, exactly right. And in the masterclass we did a year ago, I remember you said we want people with ridiculous goals.
Yeah.
Right? Because I like to set that as a long-term thing. And it's like, okay, this is what we're going to do. And this boat is going to, with what we want to set up with our lifestyle in over a 10-year period. I can work from anywhere in the world.
Yep.
If Kate wants to work to keep herself busy is the end goal. But I want to say with this boat, if we want to just go to New Zealand, let's hop in it. It's a long-range cruiser. Go to New Zealand, go up the islands, go to Fiji, come back down the coast. Starlink, I'm fully operational.
Yep.
That's my goal.
That's a pretty ridiculous goal.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it.
Yeah.
I like it.
I'm telling you,
I'm excited
I know,
by it.
like,
I'm a little bit aroused.
Kate's the numbers person.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I can calculate everything with fuel costs,
Yeah.
everything with nautical miles, and what, it's handy. It's a little bit cheaper.
So I'm hearing someone listening to this at home.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got a car that you own cash,
Yep.
you're an idiot. You didn't pay cash for it.
Yep.
You're paying it off over 30 years if
Yep.
you still have a home loan. But this mindset of always pay cash for cars, well, that money should be in your mortgage.
Yep.
Yep.
You're paying off a car over 30 years.
Yep.
No one keeps a car for 30 years.
Yeah.
It's going to break.
Yeah,
It's going to
exactly
cost you
right.
more money.
Yep.
So I'm hearing let go of toys, but
it's hard.
only temporarily.
Yeah, it's not forever.
It's not forever.
It's short term, as I say, my thing was short term pain, long term gain, but there's not really that much pain once you get it. And you get excited about having that goal. Like when you book a holiday a year in advance,
Yep.
it makes that year a little bit easier because you've
Yeah.
always, you have a shit day, you can come,
Can't wait to go to.
Yeah, we're going to go there. And then it's there.
Yeah.
Well, having that goal, planning it, obviously with boats, I educate myself on it, what I want to do. It's a little bit big, a little bit different. But it keeps you going. It's just another source of fuel to say, I want to get there, and it's not instant, but we can see the pathway of how we're going to get there. And it's actually not that difficult.
Okay. Any other words of wisdom?
I was going to say, I think for me, I'm probably more the practical. I don't have a boat. I've got the bills. I've got the shopping. I've got
Real life over here.
And I think for me, my words of advice to everyone at home would be, and something really interesting that I've done when I first started Infinity, obviously I was on the masterclass, and you talk about your spending. So I actually, you know what, if you've got it can be all automated now, but even if you've got your bank statements, go back through the last 3 months. If you want to do it, I did the pen and paper. There are apps that can do it now. But actually, put your food, put dining out, alcohol, You know, if you, you know, let's say fun. So do you go to the movies or what? Maybe holiday? Put them all in little columns and actually do this. So spend a few hours and do a breakdown and work out where your money's gone, say in the last month or 2 months or 3 months. I did this as a little activity and I could not believe where the money was going. It was a real eye-opener for me. And it actually made my mindset change and go, you know what, this column here, you know, because I love food. I do 75 so hard because I just love food. And, you know, part of our, you know, gratification or we deserve it, you know, let's go out for a nice dinner or, you know, we might have that nice brunch or whatever it might be.
I
We
feel
deserve
you.
it. You know?
You know, we've worked a really hard week, you know, and, you know, well, you know what, spoil yourself, darling, have the steak or whatever it might be. And it might just be $100 here, $100 there. But once
Before you know it, it's $8,000 in a month, 96 grand a year.
that's what I mean.
Without
So
knowing-
His wages gone.
these are the numbers that actually really got my mind thinking. If I take the time to meal prep, plan, you know, when you're in the supermarket, do you know your prices? You know, something as silly as, let's say, deodorant.
Yep.
When it's not on special, it's $8.
Yep.
When it's on special, it can be $3 or $4.
Yep.
So I know it sounds silly,
Yep.
but little mindset changes to go, you know what, are you planning your spending? Know your prices. And people go, oh, but Kate, it's only $4.
You have 4 of them.
But these are
You
the
get two for the price of one if you buy them at the right time.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's all
And-
cycles with pricing with supermarkets. and stuff,
We've
so-
probably taken this to the extreme. Alex bought us half a cow.
Yeah. But I like good meat. That's
Yeah.
one thing. You know, smoking meats and all that sort of stuff. So we do $450 at the butcher a month for just the two of us. But, you know, yeah. And I got a mate who's a cattle farmer and he managed to put one in a paddock for extra 4 months for us. And we bought half. We're still going through it. We're nearly 4
and
months
that's
in now.
Yeah,
and
4 or 5 months.
nearly ready to ask him to.
Get us another one.
There you go.
So
It
bulk
works.
buy where you can,
Yeah.
I think is something simple everyone can do. You know, just know your prices. Bills is a massive one. Look at your bills, write them all down. I've got them in my
Loyalty
notes.
tax, your insurance just goes up every
Yeah.
year. Your life insurance, your home insurance.
Yep.
We had one year for somebody, a very old video did. It went up 100. It was like $1,000 and it was $10,000. And we rang and they're like, yeah, no, that's correct. And we just went to another insurer that is an affiliate of them. It's just a different brand. And it wasn't 1,000, it wasn't 10,000, it was 1,800.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
So I would
So
say
they've gone up $800. It's still
Yeah.
nearly doubled, but
Yep.
it's wild.
So everyone at home, I would put in almost like a yearly check on all of your bills, and just pick up the phone. Sometimes your same provider, if you get a quote from someone else and you ring them and say, hey, look, I'm thinking about switching
Yep.
because you've upped my premium by $300 and I can get it $400 cheaper with these guys, they'll
But
actually
here's
drop
the
it.
thing. They're preying on the laziness
That's it,
and
yeah, yeah.
ignorance of
Yeah.
how society is modelled,
Yep.
Yep.
right? Whereas the savvy ones, we pick up the phone,
Yep.
we'll get proper pricing.
Yeah.
It's everyone else they make the margin out of that's just ignoring it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So very, very good words of wisdom. I like that. Now, I want a commitment. I just want to make sure, because it's June today. I want to do this in December. What do we think the debt's going to be? 79,000
Let me
today.
just refer to the Minister of Finance.
No pressure
Yeah,
here.
because I don't want to just sprout off numbers.
Yeah.
But
Look,
just
I think that there'll probably be 20,000.
around 20,000.
Yeah.
Round.
So it will be 20,000.
No, yeah.
Not I think.
22 and a half.
22 and a half.
No.
No.
It'll be around 20K. That's our goal.
20K.
And there's some variables that will come in and then probably
We've
the
got
next
some
6
house
months,
and
but-
lands that are
Yeah,
kicking in.
everything.
Yeah. Some
Yeah.
outflows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So-
So that's
Well, that home loan debt, we'll just focus on that 79, but not any of the investment debt. We want to really nail that. So, okay, good. Now, very important question. What questions do you have for me, since we're here today? Anything you want to pick my brain on at all?
Sure. For me, obviously, and we touched on it a little bit before around that giving back, and I love what we're doing in the community. What do you see in the pipeline? Obviously, you've spoken about this year's Christmas party,
Yep.
but in maybe not this year, but maybe next year,
Yep.
do we see some infinity fun runs happening where we're all, making some more money for
There's
salvos?
a lot of our team do like the colour run and stuff every
Yeah.
year, and some MS. There's a whole heap of stuff. MS, there's a few things the team have just done again. I think 100K or 50K last month.
Yep. The MS one. Yeah, I saw that one.
So there's a lot of things the team sort of grab and run with themselves and the community run with in the group. But we're working on quite a few things. The big one is the Kmart Salvos near and dear. The other one we do privately is DV.
Yep.
So as you know, all of our team have mobile phones.
Yep.
We provide mobile phone SIM cards, so they can be on a meeting, but you can text. Like sometimes, hey, sorry, I'm on a meeting, right?
Yep.
And they go back to the meeting. At least you got a response.
Yep.
So we upgrade those phones. Some of them every 12, some of them every 24 months. They all go to an organisation called DV Safe Phones. Again, just from some of my upbringings, these are things that matter to me.
Yeah.
Right? And Beck supports them. So those phones go with credit, with charges, all wiped. And every 12 months or so, we clean all the phones out because of tech and stuff like that. We upgrade the plans. They all go to DV Safe Phones.
Yep.
That's a charity for domestic violence victims because typically coercive control, all these sorts of things, if they do develop the courage or the ability to escape or leave, they can't communicate with people.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? And if they can, it could be tracked and this and that. So that's something we do quite a lot of, which is providing, so people have an old phone and they chuck it or sell it on Marketplace or whatever. So we tend to donate. So that's something people can have a look at, DV Safe Phones.
Yeah.
A lot of the banks and corporates get on board with that now as well. They're like, here's all our old phones, except they're like 20 years old when they do it. So ours are still valid and we give credit and charges and stuff. We also have houses under construction through Infinity, but that's something through Beck and I that we're just acquiring land. We're then asking developers and builders to help us build at a reduced rate. And we're building like a co-living, so like 4-bedroom, 4 en-suites, pin code, like coded door. They have their own bathroom, furnished, everything. And that's just more for crisis accommodation. Because I know as a young kid, I'm like, young boys aren't allowed to go into a lot of DV shelters with mothers. They used to smuggle them all in at night.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that, again, that's a bit of an expensive exercise. It's not a registered charity. It's just something that we're providing and letting organisations use. They're under construction at the moment all over Australia. But yeah, look, whatever the community want to organise, as long as it's a good cause and it's genuine and it's a registered something, we'll support it. We'll get behind it. I mean, we tend to do it about a year ahead at a board level.
Yep.
So the board sits down and goes, right,
This is what
we're
gonna get
supporting
involved
Kmart. Like if Graham says 500 and we only raise 100, I guess we're up for 400. So
Yeah.
the board, we have some pretty broad commitments that I think the community will get behind. But if they don't, then I have to. So yeah, and we do a few other things. We try to do a bit with grassroots stuff for kids and sport and stuff like that as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
But yeah, look, whatever the community, we usually ask for a vote. So usually when we set things each year or twice a year, we'll go in a ma'am to the community and go, hey, is there anything near and dear to anyone? Anyone want to throw anything into the budget for this year? Anyone think we should do anything? It is hard because there's so much going on in life these days. Everyone's got a GoFundMe and everyone's got this and everyone's got that. So which is bloody difficult to pick what to support. So we pick a couple of true to our personal values and we just tend to stick to those.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It is amazing because obviously you've done really well with obviously our Infinity community, and you always talk about it as being a good human.
Yeah.
And we have, I think, got quite an amazing community of good humans. And so they're all willing to get behind these charities, which is fantastic.
It's interesting because it matters to me, so it matters to Beck, but it seems to flow on and matter to the whole community, which is kind of a thank you. That's how I view it. It's I don't need your money. I don't need, like it's kind of a big thank you, like, hey, you helped us. We know you care about this. Therefore, we'll help support it. So
and that's exactly
special.
the way I see it, is that, you've helped us so much that of course we want to get
involved. I see that thermometer blow up and explode past 500 grand. I'm a very fucking happy boy this year. Very happy boy.
Fantastic.
And also presents, no one's getting in the door without us filling truck after truck after truck at the Christmas party this year. So, and look, I know people still went and donated at their local store and took the kids and stuff, but to think that they then also turned up and donated again is super cool. So I actually really, really value and appreciate everyone in the community jumping on board. It's really cool. So.
Nice.
But I do want to say congratulations to you guys. You should be very bloody proud of what you've been able to achieve in just a year. It doesn't come easy. I know it doesn't come easy. I've done it myself. Beck and I had to start from scratch, so you should be bloody proud. We're definitely going to sit down again in December and have a look at how you're performing from today, see what that balance is, if we hit the 20 and what we're doing property-wise. Yeah, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Any other questions you have for me, Bart?
Have you got any
Oh, look,
questions?
I've been thinking, but
Okay.
look,
I'm not going to buy another boat.
my question is more because I'm intrigued with the Infinity business, and even from in the last 12 months, from our first REM and growth and all that sort of stuff, like what strategies have you put into play internally to, well, like you say, hiring? I know you've changed a bit of the mentality with making sure you hire the person, you can teach them the skills. But with rapid growth, because the company I work for as well, we're constantly growing. And I just, how do you manage or mitigate, obviously, the rapid growth and keeping, because we've got these people surrounding us. It's unbelievable. But we see the clientele and how that's growing. Obviously, it's got to be,
So
obviously,
we
what
got
you're doing.
really good at it. We appointed a CEO.
Yep.
We then changed that. I'm now CEO again, or jointly with Beck.
Yep.
We just did a big national offsite. We brought everyone up here, fanciest hotel on the Gold Coast, couple of days. And if you talk to any of them right now, they're almost bouncing around while they talk to you, right?
Like, you've re-energized them all.
Yeah, there's this spring in their step, and that we're all in the same boat. We're holding the same oar left and right, and it's stroke.
Yep.
Stroke. And I was really clear, if you listen to some of these other podcasts, a couple of months ago in the Changing Life series, I actually sat there and called it out and said, some of the people in this organisation will not be here in the next few months, if anyone picked up on it.
Yeah.
I said, and some of them will elevate, some of them will not be here. I said, and for those that remain, I will pretty much literally intravenously feed mine and Beck's passion and culture and care into them.
Yep.
And if they don't, so to speak, stick their arm out for the drip, it ain't happening.
Yep.
They won't stay here. And if they don't want to be here, cool, it's not the right fit. We'll write you a check, give you a couple of weeks pay, go look for another job.
Yep.
And we still operate that policy, which we introduced earlier this year. And it's been amazing.
Yeah, and we see it too.
We've had some people knock on
the
the door and say, hey, probably not the right fit for me.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Cool, awesome. Here's a couple of weeks pay, off you go.
Thanks for your honesty.
Appreciate your honesty. So I'm going to, instead of, hey, your contract says you get a week or two's pay or whatever the fucking role is, here's 3 weeks, here's 4 weeks, right? You've got to feed your family. Cool. Yep. I want them to say good things about us when they go, right? Just wasn't for them.
Yeah.
Because what we do shouldn't be taken lightly.
Yep.
You're managing people's finances and livelihoods, etc. So we made some decisions to obviously be back in control ourselves.
Yep.
Not to have CEOs. We've got a board, internal and external, of advisors. We made some decisions, and way back last year, but to really stop hiring the CV and the skill, and to start hiring. They have to have a certain level of skill and accreditation.
Yeah.
But really hire the human.
Yep.
And I can see and feel that and the feedback of that already.
Yep.
By hiring the human, not the skill is teachable. The human is not. You can't teach someone and coach them into being a good human being.
No.
You're either a shit bloke or you're not.
Yeah.
Right? And if you're a shit bloke like I used to be, takes 10, 20 years to become a better bloke.
Yeah.
Right? To work every day in progress. So I'm seeing people in our organisation that were stunted absolutely shine and flourish like a Chinese bamboo tree.
That's amazing.
Yep.
They're thriving. We took out middle management throughout our finance and mortgage distribution team. Our 5 top performers are now our management team. They're what we call team leaders.
Fantastic.
So we took out CEO, head of distribution, state distribute, all this C-suite wanky management shit, and went, you 5 top performers, which, by the way, I just looked at their nominations for the broker awards this year. Some of them are writing more than $200 million a year in settled loans. Now, when I was like number 2 in Australia, I didn't write that much. Right?
Wow.
And there's a lot of businesses out there where you correlate your 5 or 6 brokers and put it all through as one person.
You've mentioned
I have
that.
5 people writing 180, 200 plus per annum themselves over $1 billion. Right? With their support team. So putting those people into team leader roles that sit in the trenches, can coach on a Zoom meeting or in the boardroom, can help with problems next to them in the pit every day.
It's that common ground too with
now
team.
that comes with they can't write the same volume they were and earn the same money, so we have to compensate that. But the people around them, not under, around, have thrived. And the results we've seen from having a co-worker with more experience be your right-hand man or woman is fucking unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is the best decision we ever made.
Because they're coaching in the moment, they're building trust, they've already got that relationship with the
Correct.
leader, they've seen the successes
They
that
know
they've
that
had.
person isn't there to HR manage them
No.
or
Yeah.
smack them. They're genuinely there to help, like they were before they got the title.
Yep.
Hey, can you help me with this file for this customer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the
Hey,
biggest.
how do you solve this? Now, same things are about to and is occurring in the relationship manager world and the coaches.
Yep.
There's going to be some change, some elevation, some more team leader roles through there as well, because it's proven to work.
Proven to work,
Yeah.
So we've really seen probably the most rapid culture shift
Yep.
back to where it was and should have been
Yep.
that I've experienced since 2012-13 when we started.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's really fulfilling. It's really amazing to see the growth of the people. There'll be some people that'll start to do a lot more of what I do.
Yep.
So there's some people in training and learning, and we've done it before where they open the events, they host the events. I do sections that are really relevant because some of the stuff doesn't need to come from me. None of it does really.
Yeah.
So it's really about the business now not being Graham and Beck.
You're empowering your people.
It's a brand.
Yeah.
You know, Money Mentor is my personal brand.
Yep.
But Infinity in its own, it stands on its own 2 feet now, and it has for a long time. That's interesting. At the REM, we did the anonymous Q&A. I keep talking about family.
Yeah.
And I'm like, guys, what, best 2 seconds of my life, worst 2 seconds for Beck. All right, we're going to have a child. Like, that doesn't mean that life stops. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly right.
I got some really weird questions from people like, oh no, my mortgage must disappear when Graham and Rebecca have a child.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
You're
it was
so
just-
busy.
it was
Like,
just
you're
fucking bizarre.
doing everything for
Yeah.
600 people.
It was just wild. So, but yeah, so the culture has shifted dramatically for the better. And the people we're recruiting, I think we're acknowledging that. They're acknowledging that. Some people are actually saying no when we offer them a job. They're like, hey, we appreciate your honesty. It's not for us.
Yep.
And we think they're the right person, but we're doing a really good job at being completely transparent of our expectations here.
Yeah.
And we don't expect average.
No.
We are a high performance organization, high care and high touch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is not a job.
But we see that from our end as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
You know,
It is.
your team genuinely care about us, and I've never had that before with any company.
They love what they do. They're remunerated very freaking well,
Yep.
right? And they love what they do, but the results are there. They've all worked somewhere with a load of shit. They've all worked somewhere. They've flogged a product, promised one thing, delivered another. It's not very fulfilling. Here, it's pretty fulfilling.
Big drive is probably job satisfaction too. Like
They
seeing
love
people
what they
succeed just keeps you
They
going.
love it.
you know?
And they all have very clearly defined career paths now.
Yep.
Yeah.
They know where they can be. They know how long it takes to get there.
Yep.
We go, oh, I lost my RM. Yeah, because they became a broker support.
Yeah.
They became a financial strategist. Like, don't be pissed off.
No.
Be excited
yeah,
for them that they were so
celebrate them.
good. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
celebrate that win for them. So it's really exciting. There's a point we get to where we just shut the books.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we won't continue to take as many new clients. We're already playing with those volumes now and reverse engineering it.
Yep.
So next year, we won't be doing a masterclass a month, a REM once a month, or this one. We'll be doing one event a month. So
Yep.
if we do a masterclass in January, I will do nothing else for the other 3 weekends.
Yeah.
All right. And then we will do a REM in February.
Yep.
And I will do no masterclass. So next year, I won't do 12 masterclasses. I'll only do 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Because I've been running at this pace for
Yeah.
13 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So I work every weekend, every public unit, and that's got to change. Health wise, family. The business doesn't need to continue to grow at the rate it is. It's what? It will continue to grow, but just a bit more stable.
Yeah.
I mean, look, ideally, I still want to fuck up the entire financial services sector and industry in Australia, but I'll do that through some digital methods and some other changes in due course next year. But yeah, it's a good balancing act.
Yeah.
The right people, the right roles. You know, don't want the wrong people, wrong roles. It's a full-time job, 10 full-time jobs.
Yep.
But again, our leadership team that are here, Helena, our COO, she's been with Beck and I probably 7-8 years. She had a baby, she left, she came back. So operationally, as far as not having a CEO, she's really running the business day to day for Beck and I, with Beck and I.
Yep.
We're super hands-on. You know, people don't, like most business owners, they're at the gym, they're at golf, whatever. like pretty much every morning, my whole first half of the day, people see me on Zooms because I walk the entire office. Which I was in the Melbourne office this week. I'm here this week. So, and I walk in and, hey, on Zooms and stick my tongue and say g'day, and very interactive on every file. And people are like, oh, I don't know if you know. And I'm like, of course I fucking know. I read your files like I've got a problem. But, you know, that is changing. It will change over, you know, the next course of the year or so. That, you know, 13 years, the business has kind of figured it's out. Clients can feel it. They're sharing it. They're going, this feels great. This is good. You know, staff, team members can feel it. So now it's just about that evolution of just being 1% better every day. But we won't continue to scale. So it's at a point now where we could charge whatever we want because the results are so good. And we only need to take this many people. But because Beck and I both want big impact, big care, big passion, we still have the floodgates open a bit. But we are going to refine that. It's gonna, and I think you're seeing it, Rem, and that I think we're getting very good at who we say yes to being an approved client and who we say no. Like very good. Because the people you're meeting, we've really filled and said, no, here's your money back here. 99% of the people coming through are great human beings as well that genuinely want to do well.
It is phenomenal. Even at a REM where there is obviously a massive room full of new people, you can... There's not a bad person in the room, and it's so hard. It's nearly impossible to find that, you know.
I still look for it. Just in case.
No. Look, one of the REMs. I like. You know, you're looking, and there was a guy like really getting upset with some of the stuff you're saying. I'm thinking, dude, you shouldn't be here. You know. But other than like the communities, as I said, the community you've built and that is flourishing is off the charts.
That's pretty cool.
It's inspiring. It keeps you accountable. You can ask people questions. You can PM people. Like, there is no way you can get that. Like, that is the priceless part of, I think.
It's funny because we've got some business associates for stuff we're doing overseas and, you know, from the US and they were here at the last REM.
Oh, really?
And they could not understand.
Did they watch the dancing?
Yeah, everything. Everything. They were at the nightclub talking to people because they spoke to about 100 different couples because they're trying to understand. They said to me, there's not a business on the planet, could be a church, could be a charity, could be there's no organisation on the planet that can stick 600 people in a room and not have pissed off people. And you can stick them in a room, and if they're upset about anything and they talk to you about it, you can be live on stage, an anonymous Q&A, it could be there, it could be in front of people. You just deal with it. Like, there's and they're satisfied that you fixed it and it's done and it's solved and it's happy days, right? Or if you don't like it, here's your money back and go away. No problem.
There's
not an organisation on the planet that does that. You know, if you're upset with your Tesla, they don't just give you your money back and take it off you.
No, exactly.
We do.
Right.
So I know our business is, touch wood, thankfully, is in a position of abundance. And decisions that businesses, human beings, people, organisations make from a position of scarcity are always driven by desperation for commission or income or outcomes or sales or whatever. When you're in a position of abundance, you can care, but you don't care about the sales, you put people first and profits last because you're already profitable.
You've got more choice.
It's like giving back. When you actually put people first, profits last, profits tend to flow in anyway.
Exactly right.
Because the people are so fucking happy.
And
you can say no to heaps of other people. If they're an arsehole or an obstacle, it's like, see ya. And it allows you to just, and that's the biggest thing. Saying no to so many has allowed us to deliver so well for the few we say yes to. That's the difference you're probably feeling at the moment. Because all of our time was absolutely consumed by people that were just fucking nowhere.
Just really strategy versus your culture. You know, if you get the culture right, the strategy will just come along with
people.
That's it.
It doesn't take long. It's a month to have the first light bulb moment, and then you're on board.
And the people know. Our people know I'll get on a call with them, I get on a Zoom. Now, I'll say to them, but to the client, tell the client, if I have to as a founder and CEO, get on and tell you what I've already told you because you don't accept it from my team, I'll do it, but you're fired at the end of the call.
Exactly right.
Don't people think they own the time? Like you don't, hey, I demand to talk to the CEO of CoinBank. It doesn't work like that, right? No. But I'll do it to prove a point, to support, and my team know that. And the team know they've got to have full support in that. You know, if
you're backing them.
Nothing's perfect. If something goes wrong, you just fix it. That's how you fix it that determines whether you have this amazing relationship for your client or not. So, but it's fun.
It looks
should
like
feel
you're having
fun
fun.
for you guys.
It is. It's
If
fun.
it wasn't fun, I'd be retired.
It's
Yeah.
been a whirlwind. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Looking forward to the next 5 years.
How long? Well, 10.
10.
Yeah. Well,
10, 20, whatever.
no, yeah,
Whatever.
10. 10's that's my long term.
Okay. It's the boat.
50.
50?
Yeah.
Okay.
Don't want to have to work. I'm going to work because
You love
the old
working.
saying, you're
Yeah, I'd
retired,
get bored.
retired
Yeah.
to die. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't want to have to work.
Well done.
My boss already knows that too, so he's all right. I said I'm doing work for you, but
You guys should be bloody proud. Appreciate you coming in to share today.
it's been awesome. Thank
and
you.
we look forward to following this up in December.
Yeah. Look forward to it.
Well done.
Thanks, G.
Thanks,
Jake.
guys.
Cheers.
Maji, maji, maji.